Tonight on the podcast, we're going to be talking about some Obi-Wan Kenobi news related to the Imperial March. We're going to be talking about Miss Marvel, The Boys, how EA is consistently being stupid, and we're going to be ending the night off. Ish is going to be joining me. We're going to be talking all about what are the best Lord of the Rings and Hobbit movies. What's up, everybody? You are tuned into the Absolute Geek Podcast, the best podcast on the entire internet. I am Max, and I am here alone while Matt and Lance are away tending to their wounds. They were just spending a little bit too much time watching TV this week. They had some difficulties when they were standing up from their couches. They tweaked their backs. So, you would think that they could sit down and just do some podcasting with me, but, they're just wusses. So they're not here tonight. It's just Max solo podcasting. And we've got some people in the chat tonight. We got Kyle. What up, Kyle? Yeah, it is just me. And Sticks in the chat. Yeah, I am solo tonight. Well, not the entire night. We do have Ish coming on a little bit later, around 8 o'clock. So hopefully I can do this by myself for the next 30 minutes until Ish gets here. I think we'll be good, though, because you guys in the chat are always fun, and you keep it lively. But what's going on, everybody? How are you doing tonight? I'd love to hear from those who are in the chat. But, they can't even phone it in. Sticks is saying, damn, can't even phone it in. Yeah, Lance is, just being a wimp. And Matt, he thinks that WWE SmackDown is more important than the podcast. Okay, he thinks that WWE is more important than the podcast. Kyle's offering to come on. Sure, come on, Kyle. Let me shoot you a quick little message here. Oh, it looks like Ish is actually going to be getting on early, so that takes a little bit of the pressure off. All right, Kyle, I'm going to shoot you a quick little link. Feel free to join in. I don't know if you watched The Boys and Miss Marvel. That is going to be a big chunk of what I'm talking about tonight. But with that, let's go ahead and get right into the news. Do some geek news, and I'm going to talk first and foremost about how EA sucks. EA is at it again. They say stupid stuff all the time, as we all know. And earlier this week, they tweeted, I don't know if you guys have seen this trend going around. It's on TikTok. It's probably on Reels as well, but it's this idea of they're insert number here, but la-di-da-di-da. And in this case, they're a 10, but they like playing single-player Star Wars or single-player games. Hey, Kyle's here. What up, Kyle?
I didn't want you to be all by your lonesome.
Oh, you're good. Thank you. I appreciate you. Appreciate you joining me. I had never done solo podcasting, so I was like, hey, this will be fun. We'll see how this goes. But I think it's more fun to listen to when there's a dialogue, right?
Always.
Yeah. Matt does the solo podcasting sometimes. When Lance and I were out in Colorado Springs, he did it all by himself for an hour. I don't know how he talked for an hour just by himself.
He's a man amongst men.
Patrick says, oh, Kyle's coming on. I'm out.
That's usually what people say.
And then they stick around. They stick around and they have the time of their lives. I know you're not much of a gamer, but I thought this was kind of funny, this little piece of news here that EA is saying they're a 10, but they only like playing single-player games. EA is always under fire for doing stupid stuff, and people got pissed. Especially because you look at the title or the picture up here, it's got Jedi Fallen Order, which is a single-player game published by EA, probably one of the best Star Wars games ever made. So people got all pissed, and then they came out and were apologizing for it. But how you doing tonight, Kyle?
It's supposed to look cool, right?
What's supposed to look cool?
This game.
Yes, this game is cool. But my Photoshop skills aren't the best, so he doesn't look very good.
I'm all right. I went out of town. Probably Patrick and stuff. I heard this story. I don't know if Sticks Boys has. But I went out of town. I was comic book shop hunting in another state.
Mm-hmm.
And I walk into this comic book shop and I'm like, hey, I'm just gonna look around, and the guy's like, I know you. And I'm like, nah, I'm from Phoenix. I'm not from around here. He's like, no, I watch you on YouTube every week.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
That's really, really cool.
Yeah, I stopped at a shop it's called Comics Elite.
Okay, where's that at?
It's in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Okay. What were you in Indiana for?
Hanging out.
You have family there or just...
Yeah, I'm visiting some family.
Okay. I don't know if it's just on my end, but every time I speak, I'm hearing myself come back through.
It's probably me. Let me put my headphones on.
Okay, that's probably going to do it.
Better?
Let's see. Yeah, I'm not hearing myself, so I think it's better.
That's what it was. That was me.
Makes sense. Speakers on your laptop or something.
So here's another story. I know Patrick heard this story because I was telling it on Thresholds of Reality.
Mm-hmm.
But so I took my computer and my microphone and my headset and everything with me, out of town, so that I could, podcast. And so I packed it for Sky Harbor, and I put my microphone and my headset and stuff in my carry-on, and then I had my laptop in an additional carry-on. With all my clothes and stuff was my microphone. And it went through just fine. I didn't have any problems when I was coming back. TSA says, you come this way. I didn't have to, how you go in that scanner and you go like this.
Yeah.
They said, don't even have to go through that. Come through these metal detectors and you need to go stand over there.
So they thought you had a gun in there, didn't they?
Like no, they thought it was a bomb.
Oh, wow.
So they had my luggage, my carry-on, like in this little like cased in area. And the TSA guy, like, he opens up my carry-on real slowly, moves my clothes over because I kind of put it between my clothes so it didn't get like smashed when I was, taking it out of carry-on and moving it around and stuff. And he picks it up really slow. He sets it down very gently on the top of my clothes. He gets this device out and he clicks in this disc. And he starts like wanding it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then he takes that disc out and then he put it in some machine. And then he takes another device out and starts wanding my microphone again. He goes, what is this? I was like, it's a microphone. What's it look like? He's like, no, what is it? I said, it's a microphone. He's like, all right, let me see. And he's still wanding it. And then I guess the person behind me had a microphone in their carry-on as well. And they started wigging out on everybody.
Because they thought there was some conspiracy. You guys might have been together.
Yeah, because I think that person actually didn't have to go through the scanner thing as well.
Dang, man. That's so how long did they hold you there?
Just until those results came back from that machine. And once the results came back that it wasn't a bomb, they were just like, they just shoved everything back in my bag and said, here you go.
Man, that's crazy, man. It's like, I get it. Like, as a security person, like, your job is to basically assume that you're guilty, but it's frustrating. Imagine if you had missed your flight. That would have sucked for just having a microphone on you.
Yeah. So the lesson in this story is if you travel, take your microphone out of your luggage and put it into those bins.
So it's clear.
So they can scan it.
Yeah. That's smart. I mean, I always take like all my electronics out, but they do tell you to do that. Like if you have a tablet or laptop, take it out and stuff. But I mean, like, Stick says at least they didn't find you the boys vibrator.
Oh, I was hiding that somewhere else.
If they would have cavity searched you, they would have found it.
Would have fell right out.
Oh, so you're loose up there. Or down there.
Goosey.
Oh, nice, man. Yeah, so you were telling the story about the comic book shop out of state, which your story is way cooler than mine, because we didn't get recognized and people say, oh, you're from that show that I watch every week. But Lance and I were traveling a couple weeks ago up to Colorado Springs, Denver area to go to a show for a band we like. And we stopped at a comic book shop on the way on our drive up, and it was just cool. Like I just love finding these random comic book shops in these little towns, and no, because I don't even remember where we stopped, but it wasn't like a big city. It was, one of those smaller towns, probably with, I don't know, 50 to 100,000 people
Uh-huh.
population. It was just this cool comic book shop, and they had these amazing figurines, and they actually had a tattoo shop in there as well, so you could go get
That's
tats.
different.
Yeah, yeah. I thought that was interesting. I don't know if it's like co-owned or if they're like leasing the same space so they can save money or something. But it seemed like it was a tattoo shop for nerds because all the artists had tons of nerd crap in their rooms. There were like 2 rooms to get your tats done, and it was just cool. It's just fun going to explore different shops. I was bummed though in the Springs where I lived. There was a shop that I used to go to every couple weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and it closed down during COVID. So I went back to see if maybe I had heard wrong. Maybe it was still open, but nope. Sure enough, it had closed down, and we couldn't check it out while we were there.
Dude, the Springs is an awesome town, man.
I love Colorado Springs.
Oh, me too. I have some friends that live up there, and once in a while I would go up there and visit them. And every time I went there, I never ever wanted to come back. I mean, I did because I had stuff here, but like for a long time, it was like my goal in life was to move there.
Really?
It's just so nice. I
Nice.
love it there.
I did it. I lived there for 2 years. I did not want to leave. And now I've been back in Arizona longer than I ever even lived there, which is crazy to me. I feel like I just moved back, but I've been back longer than I even lived in Colorado.
Dude, there's nothing like going to the Garden of the Gods when it's snowy.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh, dude, I took some
Yeah.
awesome pictures of the Gardens of the Gods.
Yeah, I had some family come up to visit in like November one year, and it had snowed recently. That was amazing. If you guys, not that everyone that listens to us is Arizonan, but I know a lot of our audience is. If you're unfamiliar with Garden of the Gods, Google it. But it's basically like Sedona, so it's red rocks like Sedona.
Mhm.
But imagine that covered in snow, because you wouldn't see that. Like Sedona might get a little bit of snow, but not much. So it's just gorgeous, man. And
Yeah,
it's funny because like Colorado Springs is right at the edge of the Rocky Mountains, and you wouldn't think red rocks in the Rocky Mountains. You're thinking green trees and big mountains, and you're thinking green, and all of a sudden you just got this oasis of red rocks in the middle of the Rockies. It's cool. Yeah, it's a beautiful place. There's this hotel in the Springs called the Broadmoor. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's like this fancy hotel, and just behind it they have this cool hiking trail, and like I think they call it Seven Falls because
Mhm.
there's like 7 waterfalls up there. I took my family there. I think it was the same trip. It had just snowed and the snow was melting, and just you see all these trees covered in snow with it just dripping. It's gorgeous, dude. I miss it. I really miss it, especially this time of year when it's 110 degrees outside.
Oh yeah, my buddy where he used to live, um, he lived right across from Elvira's old house.
Okay.
Elvira, Mistress of the Dark.
I'm not familiar with that.
You're not familiar with Elvira?
No, I'm not. I'm not a horror guy, so that's
Uh,
probably why I've never heard of it.
but and it was cool too because like my dad used to live there when he was a kid. So like the last time I went there, I took pictures of his old house. I took pictures of like, the old places a place that he worked when he was a kid and stuff. And such a cool town.
Yeah, it is really cool. There's in Manitou Springs, there's a really cool comic book shop there. Um, I don't know if it's still owned by her, but it used to be owned by this girl, Linda Sink. And I got to talk to her a few times, and we were collaborating some stuff back when we were still doing Couch Crunchers, and I was gonna she helped like with the Colorado Springs Con, and I was gonna join and like do some stuff there and some panels, and then COVID hit and we moved and everything, so that didn't ever come to fruition. But it was pretty cool getting to meet the owners of the shops over there. Did you watch Miss Marvel or The Boys, Kyle?
No, I haven't.
Okay, that's okay. I was planning on giving spoiler-free reviews anyway when I get to it, but just wanted to check.
It's fucking Hartman in the house.
Hartman? Oh, you watching something?
The chat.
Oh, I'm an idiot. What's up, Hartman? Thanks for joining in. Okay, I wanted to nerd out about something today before I do my reviews of Miss Marvel and The Boys. And it's that I didn't get to talk about Obi-Wan last week, so I wasn't on the show. and Matt and Lance were not nice enough to that show. I freaking love it.
Dude, it was
Thought
awesome.
I loved it. It was incredible. And if you're worried about spoilers, you haven't watched the show yet, I'm not planning on getting into spoilers right now, other than one thing, which is that Darth Vader's Imperial March theme is played in the show, and people, I think some people have complained that it wasn't. They're like, why wasn't it played every time you walked on screen? The dun 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 dun. And I get that thought, but I wanted to just talk about why I think that is, and not just think that is. The director said the same thing. It's essentially that if you guys watch Obi-Wan Kenobi, the show isn't just about Obi-Wan and his arc. It's also about Anakin and his arc turning into Darth Vader. One of my favorite books from the new Star Wars canon is called Lords of the Sith, and it takes place like 5 years after Revenge of the Sith. And so that's 5 years even before this show. And one of the big plot points is that the Emperor and Vader are on this planet, and they're going on this mission together, but Vader is constantly conflicted. He's thinking about, Padme, or about his kids being lost, and he's still struggling with being Anakin. And this show, 5 years later in the timeline, he's still struggling with that. And so what I love is that, like, they do music that I think feels very Star Wars for Vader, but doesn't quite sound like the Imperial March. And then after his and Obi-Wan's final confrontation, when he like truly gives up Anakin, is when you hear the Imperial March. And I just thought that the symbolism behind that was really, really cool. Hartman says, because Anakin was acknowledged to be dead. Absolutely. That's exactly the case. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts about this, Kyle? I'm probably nerding out more than I need to for Star Wars, but
No, it totally makes sense. Like, I mean, like, you're right. Once Anakin is gone, it's Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Like, truly, you know what I mean? So I get it.
Yeah. Actually, I'm changing my mind, guys. I am going to get into full spoilers. So if you're listening to the show on the playback, fast forward a few minutes if you haven't watched the show.
Dude, when you know what that fight scene between Obi-Wan and Anakin or Darth Vader, It was like the epitome of every anime show there is. It's really, there's the strong dude that's been training and is dialed in and shit, and then there's the dude that's trying to raise back up.
Yes.
And get to this level, and every time there's this huge fight, like that last moment, like the other guy gets his power, and it's like closer to an even fight, and that's exactly what this reminded me of.
You're right. It had a ton of anime themes to it. I agree. This lightsaber fight, I won't say it's my favorite in Star Wars, but it's my favorite live action saber fight since Disney took over, by a mile. I think it's the best one that Disney has done. I think that Vader in Rogue One and Luke at the end of Mando Season 2 are better scenes than this one, even. But those aren't lightsaber duels, because it's just, them against other non-lightsaber wielders. I loved the fight, though.
We're going to have a rock fight!
Yeah, dude. I love that. When he, like, Obi-Wan lifts all those rocks up behind him and just starts chucking them at people. Call it silly if you want. I think it's Obi-Wan's Super Saiyan moment, man. It's like when Goku goes Super Saiyan for the first time and all the rocks are going up behind him. I thought that was freaking badass. And then, when he finally wins the fight and they've got that callback to Rebels where, Vader's helmet is sliced open and you can see Anakin's face. As cool as it was in Rebels, and they had the voice actor from the cartoons that played Anakin doing the voice intermixed with Vader. Like, that was really cool. But when you see Hayden Christensen, the guy who is Anakin, you can see his burnt up face underneath the mask, and you can hear his voice. It proved two things to me. One, that Hayden Christensen is not a bad actor. It's just that the dialogue in the prequels sucked.
Yeah.
And I've always said that. Like, I won't say like Hayden Christensen's an incredible actor, but he did a good job here. And I think the dialogue and the directing is the reason.
For what he was given.
Yes, for what he was given, I think he did okay. But like Revenge of the Sith has some fairly cringy moments, but I think that's dialogue. I think that's direction. Whereas this was better directed, better written. Like the line where Anakin looks to Obi-Wan and he says, "You didn't kill Anakin Skywalker. I did." it gave me chills. I've watched the finale 5 times already. Like, not even exaggerating. I am obsessed with it. And I've been listening to the music on playback, like on Apple Music. I'll go and listen to the soundtrack of their final fight. And then at the end of that, it plays the Imperial March. And it just gives me the feels every time. I was saying for a while that Mando was my favorite Star Wars show. Honestly, I think Obi-Wan might be my favorite Star Wars show now.
Dude, it's right up there. It
They're
really
close.
is. Yeah, it's a
They're-
photo finish for sure.
Yeah. Is every aspect of Obi-Wan perfect? No, but there was some boring episodes in both seasons of Mando as well. But the highs are really high in the show, and it made me realize that I'm a millennial. I grew up with the prequels. You were probably already you would have been either a late teen or an adult already when the prequels came out, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I think you're about 10 years older than me. I think I was probably about 10 when the first movie came out. No, I was like 11. So I was born in 88 and episode 1 came out in 99. So like I grew up with them. You know what I mean? And so like there's a lot of nostalgia there. And so when I see Hayden Christensen again, I see Ian McGregor again, and I see them together, it's just, it's so good. It's so good.
You know what? I didn't find any of the episodes boring. I really didn't. Like I felt everything was paced well.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that it kind of I thought it went well. Like I enjoyed every episode. Like
I enjoy every episode too. I don't think that any of them are boring, but it's not like all of them are like, oh my gosh, that was, I don't know. For me, it's mostly just I think it's just the second episode. And that's not a bad episode. It's just, there's nothing as huge that happens there. The third episode, Vader and Obi-Wan fight.
Yes.
That was really cool. The fourth episode, Obi-Wan's starting to get his like mojo back, and he's he's going up he's fighting against the Inquisitors and stuff, and the stormtroopers there, like, and he rescues Leia from Fortress Inquisitorius. And then the fifth episode, you got Reva and Vader's fight, and then obviously you got Obi-Wan versus Vader in the finale, and other stuff too.
Like I think out of that whole series, I think Third Sister got the shaft on dialogue and however they directed her, because she just was like, and I don't know if it was part of how she was told to act it, but it just seemed like she just kind of fell flat.
I think in some ways she kind of fell flat. So Hartman's saying that Reva wasn't supposed to know Anakin was Darth Vader, but they explain that in the show, and it makes perfect sense. Like, she was there when Anakin came into the Jedi Temple to kill all the younglings. So she got stabbed by Anakin in the temple, but she survived it. So it makes sense that she would know that. Like, I'm sure that it was advertised, or that she was aware that Darth Vader is the one that carried that act out. So I don't think it's unreasonable of her to know. There's a lot of things that people wanted to call out as plot holes, and I think all of them pretty much got taken care of. But I know Ish is going to be on here in a little bit, so I'm going to move on and give my spoiler-free review of Miss Marvel and the Boys. I'm going to be perfectly honest here. My review of Miss Marvel is going to be really short, because I like the show. This is my first time actually getting to talk about the show, because on other episodes where we've talked about it, I had to log off early or whatever, and I haven't gotten to talk about it on here. I like the show a lot. This episode I wasn't as into, though.
Why not?
I don't know. Just like, it just felt really by the numbers. Like, there wasn't really anything very exciting. Like in the prior episode, there were some cool reveals. In this episode, without getting into spoilers, like, her grandma at the end of the last episode called her on the phone and was like, "Hey, I want you to come to Pakistan so that we can talk to each other." And so she does go to Pakistan, and so like it's cool like for her to be there, and there's some really cool cultural stuff, but like it just felt like the same beats that have been in other episodes were here again. Like, the villains followed her there, and eventually they try to get her, and they run away and they fight, and she gets away, and it was just really by the numbers and just didn't seem very interesting. I think the show's good. I think there's potential here. I think she's awesome as Kamala. I don't love the power change. Like, have you watched the show at all so far, Kyle?
I've watched every episode but the last one.
Okay, so you're I mean, you know her powers more obviously than me, I'm sure, but I like what
I was
she.
never a Miss Marvel person.
Okay, fair enough. I just know you read more comics than me, but like, I'm mostly familiar with her from the Avengers video game that came out a couple years ago, and I know that her powers are more consistent with the comics there, where she's not like Mr. Fantastic per se, but she can stretch her arms out, she can embiggen her hands, embiggen her whole body. She doesn't have this like light source that she uses, and it doesn't come from a bangle. She's an Inhuman. I don't mind that she's not an Inhuman. Like, that doesn't bother me. I don't really even mind that it's a bangle, but I'm missing the fact that like her actual body grows. Like, I liked that. Like, her fist gets massive and she uses it as a hammer, or she can grow tall. And I don't know, maybe her powers are going to evolve as she learns to use the bangle more. But that's like one thing I'm not as much a fan of. I also want her to get into her actual costume because that hasn't happened yet. And I like the poster here. I think her costume's cool. So I don't know.
I think it's cute. I think the show.
It is cute.
That's all I could really describe it. It's not
made for you and I.
No.
Like
my daughter loves it.
Yes, I think it's made more for teens.
Yeah. So, and I get it. Like, but I mean, I'm not going to not watch it. You know, leftover. I thought that I wasn't going to say it out loud, but I thought the same exact thing.
As I was making my comment about I like how her body parts can grow bigger, I was like, someone's going to make this sexual. I know they are. And then I immediately regretted what I said, because I'm like, she's technically 18 years old, but to me, that's creepy for me to be looking at her that way. She looks like a teenager, but she is. She's 18. Like, no.
Isn't she only, man. I mean, in real life, she is.
In real life, she's 18. In the show, I think she's like 15 or something like that.
She's like a sophomore or junior.
Yeah. Which, okay, I didn't know this. The girl that plays Max in Stranger Things is like 20 or 21 years old. I couldn't believe that. I found that out recently because she looks like she's like 14 years old to me.
Have you ever watched the new season?
I have not finished it.
You started watching it?
I did. I watched episode 8 and part of episode 9, but I'm not done yet.
The only thing I watched I found on YouTube is when he starts playing Master of Puppets.
Wait. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I actually.
That's Master of Puppets by Metallica.
Yeah. There's other Metallica that gets played in the episode. Again, I haven't finished it though. I just want to. I need to rewind it because I was watching it today while I was like doing other things, and I feel like I missed things. Like, I technically saw the scene you're talking about, but I don't remember what the context was. So I'm like, I think I just need to start the episode over. Problem is, it's a 2.5-hour episode.
I only haven't watched it because my wife would murder me and put me in the desert.
Yeah, I usually watch Stranger Things with my wife, but she's only watched the first episode so far of the season. But she doesn't like violence. Like, that's really tough on her, and she doesn't like super dark stuff. Mm-hmm.
So Stranger Things isn't her cup of tea.
She liked the first 3 seasons, but this episode 1 like was a bit much for her, and so I'm just watching it without her now. What up, Ish?
What's going on, guys?
Hey, happy Canada Day. I didn't realize it was Canada Day.
Yes, indeed.
Every day is Canada Day.
July 1st is Canadian Independence Day, gentlemen.
Is that when they broke free from America?
Yes. It celebrates when we came during the War of 1812, when we came and burnt down the White House.
Oh, all right.
Gotcha.
Don't make Canadians do it again.
So you're from Canada? I didn't know that, Ish.
Yes, I am. From Toronto.
That's cool.
No, okay, Canada Day is just as big in Canada as 4th of July.
Okay.
It's a huge federal holiday. Huge.
Well, then thank you for coming on our show, and it's a holiday
there's a
for you.
reason I shouldn't have worked today.
Right?
So Styx was asking if I've watched or if any of us have watched Umbrella Academy. I'm not done yet. My wife and I are about 4 episodes in. I'm really enjoying it.
That's about what I am too.
But I didn't realize they had changed it to TV mature. That show's been TV 14, and all of a sudden I'm like on the second or third episode, and like Lila's
So
like
you can't
cursing up a
watch it now?
storm. No, I can watch it, but
He's not allowed.
my wife's more sensitive to that kind of stuff. Like she'll watch it, but she notices. She's like, "Whoa, they're cussing a lot," and I'm like,
And your
"Oh yeah,
wife
they
is
are."
cool as hell.
What was that?
Said your wife is cool as hell.
Yeah, she is. She's super cool.
Yeah,
She's
she
super
was
cool.
when we all went out. Like, it was fun talking to her.
Yeah, she's an awesome person. But like she's just sensitive to that kind of stuff, and so I was like, "Oh yeah, you're right." She is swearing a lot because I don't even notice anymore. I mean, we're gonna talk about the boys in a little bit, and then we'll get to what Ish was coming on to talk about. But I hear so many freaking F-bombs, and the boys I don't even notice anymore. But yeah, I'm loving Umbrella Academy so far. Just I'm really confused about something. I'm going to ask this because this isn't a spoiler. There's a character in the show. I don't understand his power. Do you understand, Kyle, the guy with like the deformed face? Do you get his power? Because like I know if you punch him in the face, it like redirects it back at you. But then there's a scene where like Diego and him are fighting, and sometimes Diego would get kickback, sometimes he wouldn't. I'm like, what?
I think he was just taking it, and then there's extra times he was punching extra hard that it was that it was bouncing back.
Whoa, Matt's here.
I thought you were at wrestling. I thought you were
It's
a
over.
wrestler.
Done.
Oh, welcome
got
back.
home.
I guess his back
Matt,
is
did you win
feeling
the
better.
Royal Rumble?
I did.
I told
I
everybody
knew
that
you were
you
gonna
tweaked
run
your
and
back
jump
watching
in
too
and
much
win
TV.
I tried.
Did your hockey team win, Ish?
My hockey team, they haven't won since 1967.
Oh, see, I don't know nothing about hockey. Obi-Wan stinks. What the fuck is that?
What?
Oh yeah, he hates
What?
Obi-Wan.
Who
That's
said
why we
that?
talked about it before he got here.
What?
So
I
Sticks is
was,
saying his
like,
power.
Max is probably desperately hoping that I don't jump on the show while they're still talking about Obi-Wan.
Yes, we fluffed Obi-Wan because we both loved it.
Oh man, that show was so bad.
I loved
Even
it.
the stuff they got
But you-
right, they ended up wrong anyways. It was so frustrating. And you mentioned the
Oh my
lightsaber
God.
battle. It was lightsaber on lightsaber the entire time with some pirouettes in between.
You fucking nerds.
I hated that choreography.
Seriously.
Okay, so Sticks is saying that his power is reverberating from his face only. So that's what we thought. But then there's a part where a knife gets thrown at the guy, it slices his leg, and the person that threw the knife gets a cut
kid.
on their leg.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm super confused by.
That's why I thought
his
Diego
power.
was just like taking the hits and just keep going.
That's-
That's what I took from it.
That's what I started to wonder. I'm like, is Diego just fighting through it? Like he's kicking this guy in the chest and he's getting a kickback. He just doesn't care.
Yeah, he's just fucking going balls to the wall.
Yes,
Because
and
the
the
dude's
Harvard
not used to
says
getting hit all the time.
his powers are to reflect damage onto his opponents. Whatever injuries he sustains from someone rebound upon them, despite deflecting damage. So, I guess Diego then was just taking it. If he was kicking
Yeah.
the guy in the chest, he was feeling a kick in his chest and just didn't. I don't know. Maybe the actor just didn't do a good enough job of expressing that he was getting kicked in the chest in those moments because I was confused. My wife and I were both like, "What the heck? What is this guy's power?" So, anyway.
You
Matt-
were talking about
Dude, Matt,
Umbrella
how was
Academy.
SmackDown?
It was fun. It was good.
Packed house?
It was, yeah.
So you
Rowdy
had
crowd.
special seats?
I got to sit in a booth, man, like a box.
Yeah, because fuck
Luxury
those little
box.
seats there.
I got to sit in a luxury box right next to the Kardashians' luxury box. And when we walk in, they say, now, if anyone shows up in the box next to you, do not look at them, do not make eye contact, do not take photos. So
I would have done all of that then. Just
Wait,
because I
wait.
was told not to.
Who could you not make eye contact with?
the Kardashians if they showed up. 'Cause
Really?
They own the box right next to the one I was in, yeah.
Not
You
for
can't
long.
make eye contact.
But it was all you could eat, buffet and open bar, so it was a good time.
How'd you get
Um,
those?
How much longer do you think they're going to own that?
I don't know why.
Since Booker's not with the Kardashian anymore.
Yeah, well, who knows?
Oh,
I
did they
saw that.
split?
A
Am I
while
behind
ago.
on my news? Oh man, so
Come
sad
on,
for
Kevin Durant. Come on, Kevin Durant.
Book.
Let's get rid of that fuckface Aiton.
Oh man, you got strong feelings here.
Brooklyn said they wouldn't trade Durant to Arizona unless they send Booker instead.
That was a rumor. That wasn't a real thing that
Okay.
they said. But this is what's probably going to happen. Ayton's going to go to Denver, and then that's where the trade will go to Brooklyn.
You think the Denver Nuggets are going to end up with Ayton, huh?
Yeah.
What would we get out of that?
Well, we'll end up getting Kevin Durant back in a multi-team trade
Uh,
because we'll probably end up losing Mikal Bridges, Ayton, and probably like two first round draft picks for like 25 and 26. And then and then like McGee left, so I think that frees up enough.
hold on, Sticks. The Suns will still suck.
Ban 'em.
They literally
Ban 'em.
had the best record in the league. They choked in the playoffs, but I don't think you can say the team that won the most games of any team sucks.
It only counts in playoffs, man.
I think objectively, well, they still got to
if
round
you can't
two.
get it done in the playoffs,
They still got to round two. You can't say they suck.
they got blown out 2 years in a row. They won the first 2 games and then got
Oh man,
proceeded to get run through.
I don't think we were trading games. We went to 7 versus the Mavs.
No. I'm just saying, like, they got run through in the finals last year, and then they got bounced in the second
dude.
round this year.
That game was embarrassing. That was freaking embarrassing.
We get Kevin Durant, Booker. Ooh, man.
CP3.
My brother convinced me that Durant would be a good trade. My first instinct was like, no, dude, I don't want to get rid of Ayton and Mikal Bridges. You're telling me 2 starters plus Cam Johnson is in that mix? Like, that's a lot of players for just one guy, but Durant.
No,
is a
we'll
really
get
good
other
player.
players. We'll get other players. But the bulk of our trade will be
I just wish we could trade Crowder. Why can't we trade Crowder?
the Bucks. The Bucks reached out. The Bucks,
Really?
and then he said he wanted to go to the Heat, back to the Heat,
Oh, really?
but the Bucks had reached out to get him.
I'll take the Bucks big guy. I can't ever remember his name.
Giannis.
Giannis, that's the guy.
They're
I know
not
there's
getting rid of
no
him.
way that's happening. But Giannis is so freaking talented, man. I would love to have him on my team. Oh, he's so good.
Just think we could have got the dude from the Mavs instead of Ayton originally because we picked him. We picked Ayton instead. They're first round draft picks at the same time. We could have got either of them,
Oh, really?
and we went with Ayton.
Wow.
Ish.
Ish, you're not a
Sure.
basketball guy, are you?
Not in particular.
All right. Well, I
I
invited Ish.
did read a rumor that Durant, the Raptors were in play for Durant.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, well, the only reason we've got everyone's so excited is because he actually said he wants to come here.
As Durant said that? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, you can't blame him. We're a good team. We just need something else. So,
Dude, fuck Zion and his fucking 87 games last year, and he's only played 87 games. And he's got the max deal now. Fuck him. He's gonna get hurt and he's gonna be gone again. My big toe hurts. I'm Zion.
does he get the
They just
basketball
signed-
man cold?
They just signed Booker to a max deal.
$215 million for 4 years.
Yeah.
They'd be stupid if they did it.
Okay. Well, I'm excited that Matt is here. And I'm sorry. I know Ish and I were going to talk Lord of the
SmackDown
Rings.
stories, nothing happened.
I mean, it was just a normal SmackDown show, man. It wasn't anything exciting. It was a go home show
Nothing
for
crazy happened.
No
Money
Rock.
in the Bank. So it was like the first match was they started off with a battle royale, and the participants, most of the people that were in the battle royale were in a fatal 4-way for the very last match. So it was like it really nothing happened. I started a bum ass Corbin chant though. That was cool.
For Happy Corbin.
But yeah,
So how'd you get this hookup? Was this through like your company or
Kellen.
something? Or
my buddy Kellen actually, he works
Oh, that's
for a
cool.
dispensary that owns the box, and whenever they have events there, they offer up tickets to the employees. So he hit me up and he was like, "Yo, I got tickets to SmackDown in a box, a luxury box." I was like, "Fucking let's go!"
That's
Never
awesome.
done that before, so
that's awesome. When I was working for my my prior company, it wasn't a luxury box, but they got one of the like suites at the D-back stadium for the whole company for like an outing, and it was freaking cool, man. Like it was like on that like second level, and it's all you can eat. It wasn't like amazing food. It was like hot dogs and hamburgers and stuff. But
that's what they had here. It was like they had all you could eat hot dogs, and then they had like seafood gumbo that was only okay.
Yeah, it was cool though, man.
Open bar, all you can drink.
Seafood gumbo at a SmackDown in Phoenix, Arizona.
That's fun, man.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
weird combination, man.
Yeah, gumbo here that is.
I've never had bland ass seafood gumbo until today.
Yuck.
So
yeah, I made seafood yesterday. It's my wife's birthday, and she really wanted imitation lobster nachos from Disney. And so I made them, which was a 3-day process, and they turned out really good. But seafood's just never as good in the land states, in the desert. Yeah, yeah, it's not going to be as good as you grab a lobster straight from the ocean, rip its head off fresh. There you go.
Hey, I saw a restaurant Impossible where it was in Alaska, and they still served frozen fish, and they were in like a seaside town.
As long as you can smell the ocean, it doesn't matter.
Come on.
So just because you're by the sea don't mean shit. Places.
It's true. It's not always going to be good.
And there are some restaurants here in Phoenix that do fly in their seafood fresh daily. So just saying, it's plausible to eat seafood in the desert that's fresher than the seafood you eat at a restaurant in Santa Monica.
Fair enough.
Plausible.
I bet the seafood's expensive at those restaurants.
Yeah. Yes.
Hartman, how do you know the seafood's from Disney? It talks when you take a bite. Oh man. Oh man.
Good old Hartman. So, are we going to sit here quiet, or are we going to talk about?
No,
something?
I'm speaking of talking cartoons. Let's talk about The Boys, which does have some talking cartoons, but I don't want to be ruining it for either of the two of you if you guys watch this show. Do either of you watch it?
Rune away. I don't really watch it. No.
I have not watched it, but I plan on watching it. So if I need to step away, should I step away?
Let's just do spoiler free. I mean, I can do spoiler free for this one. I don't mind. You good at that, Matt?
Yeah.
All right. Let's do spoiler free. I'm gonna say first and foremost, I absolutely loved the episode. It wasn't as good as like the previous episode. That was one of the best episodes I've ever seen of The Boys, but I loved this. Like, to give a brief synopsis, like the whole season's about Soldier Boy, and there's a storyline of a couple of the characters from The Boys teaming up with them, and it's kind of them going off on their mission, as well as Starlight trying to take down Homelander, and now Black Noir has this really fun storyline that I alluded to in the title for this week's episode, where Black Noir wants to star in a Loony Tunes Spinoff movie. It's actually really cool to get into the psyche of Black Noir quite a bit. What did you think of the episode, Matt?
I thought it was all right. I mean, after the lackluster hero-gasm last week.
Lackluster?
Yeah.
You didn't? Wow.
Dude, if you're going to start an episode with a big disclaimer like that, like this is not intended for anyone, I expected more, especially from a show like The Boys. Like, I expected there to be boobs and dong and weird shit everywhere, and all you really get is love sausage, getting cummed on, a couple people walking around naked, and the deep fucking an octopus.
It was tamer than I expected it to be.
I read that they said that this season has the most graphic content ever shown on television on a television show.
Oh, I'm sure everybody's getting blown up in every episode.
What is this poster books? We're looking at here? Payback.
That's like their post 7 ripoff. So the payback.
That's for the Boys. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, this week's episode was good. You saw a lot of stuff of Butcher's backstory and a lot of stuff with Huey going on. Like, I don't know how you can do spoil free because they have the big reveal at the end of the episode that like kind of ties everything together.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised by that reveal though at all.
No, I wasn't really either, but
Yeah,
still cool.
it was really cool, and it opens the door for what could happen next. And I'll say I don't think Homelander is going to be ended in this season. I was saying at the beginning of the season I want him to die, and I was told by people in the chat that I was going to be disappointed. And now I'm about 100% sure I'm going to be disappointed because next Friday is the season finale, and I don't see Homelander being taken down next episode. I don't think it's going to happen. In fact, I think what's going to really happen is it's going to get even worse for the world, and it's going to be a freaking nightmare with all these soups. But I am loving seeing the evolution of Black Noir's character. Butcher, he's a freaking a-hole. That guy, he's not a nice man. He has this really cool arc throughout the episode, and you think he's softening as a person, and then he's a dick. He's just always going to be a selfish dick. I don't know. I think the writing is super good, though.
I'll be honest. It is graphic, but I've thoroughly enjoyed this season of Stranger Things and Umbrella Academy more than I'm enjoying The Boys.
You enjoyed Stranger Things better?
I enjoyed Stranger Things and Umbrella Academy more than I'm enjoying The Boys.
Stranger Things surprised me. I loved the first half of season 4. I say half in quotes because it was 7 episodes of 9, but I haven't finished season 9 yet, or episode 9 of season 4. But yeah, Stranger Things is fantastic. It's really good.
But
yeah,
that's just my opinion though. Like The Boys just it's graphic, but otherwise the season has kind of felt a little lackluster. Like I thought there was going to be a lot of stuff from Hero Gasm, and I thought more stuff from Soldier Boy instead of just being an evil Captain America knockoff. You already get that in what's Kurt Russell's
Captain
kid's
America.
name in Falcon Winter Soldier.
Yeah, Falcon Winter Soldier. That's the one.
I can't think of his name, but
Wyatt Russell.
Yeah, but I can't think of the name of the character he plays.
I can't either.
Yeah,
it's John
in the show.
Yeah, but
I mean, I don't know. I think he's kind of a bad dude. I don't know. Maybe evil's the wrong word. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, let's get on
way to sell the show, Max. I'm sure everyone is dying to watch it now.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
No, The Boys.
Dude, I freaking love The Boys. Of the shows you mentioned, I think it's my favorite right now. Now, Obi-Wan takes the cake up for all of them. Like literally every Wednesday or Tuesday night, I would stay up until midnight so I could watch it. I'm not doing that for The Boys. Although what I like about Amazon is they release it like at 9 Pacific Thursday night. So that's been nice. Like I usually do watch it Thursday night because it's a lot easier to do that than staying up until midnight. But I love it. It's been a fantastic season so far. Homelander is as villainous as ever. The dynamic between Huey and Starlight is really interesting. There's a lot going on here. I don't know. But Ish likes Lord of the Rings, and Matt and Lance don't really care for it. So when I asked if Ish could come on, since I thought I was going to be solo podcasting, and now we have a fuller crew than we usually do, ironically enough, we decided that we were going to rank the Lord of the Rings movies. So let's get into that.
So you're doing this one versus this one, and then you're going to go to another set. It's going to be that one versus that one.
No. I just put up a slide for fun. I just took the second movie in each of the trilogies and did it this way. We're not going to do a battle.
Funsies.
We're going to do this ranking system. So tier maker. So I wouldn't be surprised if we don't even get something in every single tier, but we'll see what Ish's opinion is on the movies.
Like you're missing a movie.
No, we've got all of them. I only did the live action. Are you?
Oh.
Yeah. I didn't include that one. Sorry.
Well, I guess I have to start off with I would rank number 1 the 1977 Lord of the Rings.
I've never even seen it, so I wouldn't even be able to rank it.
It's an absolute masterpiece.
It's total S tier.
Yes, that's total S tier. Ralph Bakshi.
All right. Well,
I
I
really
haven't seen it, so I don't have an
surprised
opinion.
people. A lot of people, yeah. I'm shocked that you haven't seen that. Being the big Lord of the Rings fan you are.
You're right. I should have.
I'm disappointed in you, Max.
Yeah, me too. You're
I mean, that means you literally grew up a Lord of the Rings fan without having seen the only Lord of the Rings movie in existence at the time.
your tier list is
Well,
now skewed.
When did Fellowship come out? Was it 2001 or was it 99
Yes.
as well? It was 2001. So I mean, I was born in 88, so I was pretty young when Fellowship came out. So I would say I grew up with these movies more than anything.
No, but my point was, yeah, you grew up through the whole 90s, a whole decade, loving Lord of the Rings, because I assume you read the books before you saw the movie.
No,
right?
nope,
No.
no.
I read the books before I saw the movies.
The movies are what got me into the book. So I saw the first movie and then I read the books before the second one ever.
Kyle,
No,
have you seen the original Lord of the Rings?
Ha!
No?
I only started reading them
I
because I
guess
remember my
it's a
guitar
marketing
player at the
fail.
time. Yeah, totally.
yeah. It is a bit of a marketing fail. Yeah, I saw the first two movies and then I read all the books. So the
Okay.
third one was the first movie I saw we're having already read the books. I remember reading the books. I was in my room. My brother and I shared a room, and I finished it. I got to the part where Gollum falls down into Mount Doom, and he yells "precious" as he's going down. So I was really disappointed that in the movie they didn't have him yell "precious" as he was falling down into the pit. But I got goosebumps reading it. And my brother had read the books long before me. And I finished that part and I put the book down and I went up to my brother and started like slapping him on the arm. I'm like, dude, I just got to the part where the ring got destroyed. It was so cool. And my brother just like laughed at me and was like, yeah, dude, it's pretty great. Yeah. So if you want to call me a pretender, that's totally fine. It's the movies that really got me into the books. I had heard of them. I remember my buddy told me about the Lord of the Rings books, and his dad loved them and told him to read them, but I hadn't read any myself. What were you going to say?
Oh, I was going to say, well, there's 3 animated movies.
Okay.
But the one I'm referring to is the middle one. Because they made a Hobbit, and then they made a Return of the King, but they're these like Rankin Bass musicals. But the one just called Lord of the Rings by Ralph Bakshi is incredible. Incredible.
It's good to know. I need to watch
the
it.
characters so right. The music is amazing.
How long is it? I mean, it's because they do the whole series,
It's
right?
14 hours.
No, they don't. The one flaw is it ends at the Battle of Helm's Deep,
Oh,
and they never finished it.
oh
And
man.
he was never able to finish it. But even regardless of that, it's still amazing.
So then, is Tom Bombadil in it?
No,
Tom, he just gets the shaft in all the adaptations.
I think it's the Shaft.
To be fair, though, Tom is kind of.
To be fair,
I love Tom Bombadil, but he doesn't really need to be included in the story. He doesn't really impact anything. He's just kind of fun, which is kind of similar to Bjorn in the Hobbit books. Like, he's not there at the Battle of the Five Armies, even though they have him there in the movies. But they included him anyway because they tried to make one book into 3 movies. That was stupid. So I think you guys already might have an idea of where I'm going to put the Hobbit movies. So let's start with the Hobbit. Ish, where do you think it lands on this list of masterpiece, great, good, or bad?
Just the first Hobbit movie.
Just the first Hobbit movie. A series of unfortunate.
God, I'm so biased. I want to say great.
Really?
Yeah,
I was gonna put it at good. Why do you think
I'm
it's
gonna have a
great?
hard time with this because even though with all the flaws, I love Lord of the Rings so much. I can't.
Oh. So
you
got
can look
blinders
past
on.
that.
I'm gonna
But
have
you
to.
can't-
I'm gonna
but you
try.
can't
I'm
look
gonna
past
try
Obi-Wan.
to be more objective. No, I can't look past Obi-Wan because Obi-Wan was amateurish, and Peter Jackson is a professional.
Peter Jackson
Shit.
even admitted that he phoned it in for the Hobbit movies, dude.
Did he?
Yeah, he was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I just wasn't as passionate about
Fine,
it.
I'll
I'm
take a
sorry."
4th Hobbit movie. Just give me more.
I don't dislike them. I was literally watching them this week. I watched 2 of the movies this past week. So like I like them, but that's interesting.
You know, part of it was
compromise to
also-
good.
I don't know how you saw the movies, but I went and saw them in the whole IMAX HFR, the high frame rate experimental
did.
shit.
Yeah.
And that really elevated those movies because it created, especially Battle of the Five Armies. Battle of the Five Armies in 3D IMAX HFR was so insane. It felt like you were watching a live theater production. Like the shit was
Really?
like you could reach out and touch the people. It was crazy.
I didn't
And
see
that made that
one.
movie such a visceral experience during those battles.
I like Battle of the Five Armies to a degree, but
What does the
you know what?
chat
I'm
think?
gonna compromise with you and say great. I'll let you do great, because honestly,
You know,
I
Martin
like
Freeman, great casting. You know,
he was an incredible casting, and there are some moments in the Hobbit movies that are perfect. So,
Sure.
for instance, it's honestly the first like 30 minutes of the Hobbit is like amazing.
Oh, the dinner scene,
the dinner, but like
yeah.
the one that I love the most. I remember I reread The Hobbit before the first movie came out, and I remember loving that like first scene when Gandalf and Bilbo, like I don't want to say meet because they had already met years earlier, but when they kind of like re-meet, and it's Bilbo smoking a pipe on his front porch,
Yep.
and Gandalf comes up and he says, or Bilbo says, "Good morning," and you know Gandalf just kind of is teasing him. He's like, "What do you mean, good morning?
Yeah.
Do you mean that it is a good morning, or that you want me to be good on this morning, or whatever?" Like he says something really clever. The writing is really cute and fun, and they do it exactly word for word from the book. And both of those characters did such an incredible job. Like that scene, the dinner scene, the song, like that's not from
Yeah.
the book, but that song was so good. Dungeons,
Well, the Misty Mountain song was from the book.
Yeah, but like obviously the melody, you don't hear the melody in the book. That's what I meant. Sorry. Like I love the first 30 minutes of it. I
When
love.
they sang it, it's as how I imagined it in my head. It would have sounded.
Fair enough.
It's
I'm
not like it
saying
was full
I'm
off.
saying they did it incredible. I'm lazy when it comes to books. When I'm reading a book and there's a song, I don't ever imagine a melody. I just read the words and then keep going, which is interesting because I love music. Okay, so let's go to Desolation of Smaug. So I would put this one in the bad category, honestly.
Schmaug.
Yeah, which that surprised me. I always called him Smog, and then I go to the movies and they're calling him Smaug.
Schmaug.
I'm like, what the Smaug? Who's that? Just because a movie's bad though doesn't mean I won't watch it. Like I think Clone Wars is kind of a bad movie, but I still love watching it. Where would you rank the Desolation of Smaug?
I'd probably just put it good.
That's what I would put it at too.
I teeter between
I mean,
good and bad.
bad, like Obi-Wan. That's bad. Schmaug. That's all right. It's good.
You watch your mouth.
I'm ribbing you.
You
I'm giving you a hard time.
And chat, please put your 2 cents in here too. I'm not seeing people in the chat give their opinions. We'd love to hear what you want to rank the movies as. And I don't know where Matt went, but he was here and then he just left. He hates Lord of the Rings so much he had to get out of here.
Not Lord of the fucking Rings.
Hartman says, I respect Lord of the Rings like I respect my country. I dig the art, just not my cup of tea. What's the art of Precious? Is that what you said?
No. What's the opposite of precious?
Oh.
Matt's going around saying that word.
Okay. So in the Desolation of Smaug, though, I want to highlight a scene that I thought was really great there. And that's the one when the dwarves meet Bjorn. It's another like torn from the books
Beorn.
or the book. Beorn, sorry. And I love it. They're talking to Beorn, and Gandalf's like, "Yeah, I brought some from my company," and he's bringing them out slowly one by one, and just it's so good. It's so funny, and I don't think that was in the original cut. I think that's only in the extended cut.
Oh yeah,
I might be wrong, but
God
I only
bless
ever
those
watch extended
cuts. Yeah, why would you ever watch anything else?
I agree. I totally agree.
Smaug has the barrel scene right down the river?
Yes. And a lot of people make fun of it.
Such a great
I thought it was
part
fun.
of the book, and so just too goofy in the movie. It hit a level, and then it went beyond, and then Legolas dancing over everyone. It was just like, for a brief moment, I was like, ugh. Not as bad as the surf or the skateboard part at Helm's Deep.
That's so short though that it's forgivable.
But this close. I don't know. It was just kind of a little bit cringy, a little bit. Ugh.
Yeah. I enjoy that scene. I had so much fun in the theaters watching that scene, but it is silly. very, very silly. So your mom says that I hated.
Yeah,
the
your mom is
stuff.
very into Bayorn and gets very mad.
I'm not going to try to say they portrayed him perfectly because I expected he was kind of skinny for me. I expected like a hulking dude.
I have a
like-
weird critic. I didn't like his face. I don't know why. Maybe because in my mind, for decades, I had what Bayorn looked like. Probably based also on drawings, the illustrations that are in some of the publications. And in the movie, I was just like, when I saw his face, I was like, I don't know. It's just in my mind, it wasn't him.
Well, I imagined a guy who looked more like a bear, even when he wasn't a bear.
Yeah, that's probably it.
I imagined like a big full beard, and this guy had kind of like a wispy.
I
not
could
very
see that they
thick beard.
probably had a problem with if we depict this straight up from the books, people aren't going to really understand who or what this character is. So it felt like they kind of cut corners and they gave us Bayorn light. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not enough detail to confuse an audience that would have no idea. Well, what's this guy? What's going on here?
But they always have to kind of do that with movies. You know what I mean? Like they do it with a lot of stuff, like movies. Like, I don't know, because they've got to.
Yeah.
They try to keep source material, but then they've got to do it so that if you don't know it, it keeps you. You got to still. They still want you to buy that movie ticket.
It's a balancing act, right? Because they know there's going to
Yes.
be people like me. I'm going to nitpick every little thing, and I need to put in some gold in there to keep me happy. But then you're right. There's the general audience that you don't want the movie just wash right over them because they have no idea what's going on.
It's just like going to a superhero movie. You know what I mean? When it first started, you got to do it so that everybody can kind of go see it. But they've kind of convoluted it to a point where you do have to watch a bunch of stuff now. But since everybody watches it, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, I can see it becoming a little bit too much here in the future. If they keep
Lord of the Ring.
no, I mean, sorry, just like the MCU stuff where they're connecting everything.
Oh,
I feel like
okay.
You have to
might
watch
get too
Oh, like the
complicated.
necessity to you can't just watch something.
Yes,
and
I
enjoy
love it
everything
because I'm a
that's
nerd
connected,
and I
yeah.
want to watch everything, but my wife doesn't watch everything. And so I could see a world, she hasn't seen Doctor Strange yet, but she likes the Marvel movies. I could see a world where she would already go into watching Doctor Strange and be confused.
I had a customer at the shop, comic book guy, but he hadn't seen WandaVision. He doesn't have Disney Plus. And he comes to me and he's like, I watched Doctor Strange too. Like, he's like, what was that about? Like, I don't get it. And I asked, did you see WandaVision? I'm like, no. So I explained WandaVision to him and he's like, oh, okay. So yeah, like something like that, huge movie hinged entirely upon you having Disney Plus and watching WandaVision.
Luckily, my wife loved WandaVision. So she'd probably do fine. But yeah, can you imagine going into that movie and you're like, wait, kids? What's going on? There's no kids. She doesn't have kids. It would be really confusing. It almost would have been useful to do a little recap at the beginning of the movie, but
previously on Marvel.
Yeah.
In case you missed
Which
it.
would
that would be an awesome thing for Deadpool to do.
Yes.
Before every movie. Previously in the Marvel Universe. And then he just gives a fucked up description of what's happened until now. Not quite accurate.
Just enough so you do get it, but there's
just enough so you're like, yeah, that's right. But wait a minute, what?
But there's misinformation. That would be awesome, actually.
That would be fun. That would. Well, let's move on to battle.
To Kevin Feige.
I'll let him know tomorrow.
Let's move on to Five Armies, the third in the Hobbit trilogy. I'm going to start by saying they should have only made 2 Hobbit movies. I think making a third was a mistake. It sounds like you're going to disagree with me here, Ish. I would put this one in the bad.
I am, because I fucking like that movie, so I'm glad they made it.
The fighting is cool, but you've got a 2-hour movie. I think it's 2.5 hours extended edition, where there's no plot. It's just
it's a war movie.
Fighting and arguing for 2.5 hours.
Oh, so it's like the real world.
And it's like one of our podcasts.
Your mom points out they did this for the original Dune movie. When you went to see it in theaters, you actually got a booklet that explained their universe and the characters.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty cool collectible. If you can get your hands on it.
That is a cool collectible. That'd be awesome. Yeah, I don't hate the movie. I've rewatched it many times, and the extended has like a really cool scene where the dwarves it's like getting this chariot and it's got like all these blades on the side and they're just like mowing through trolls.
Dude, fucking armored, riding armored mountain sheep and stuff.
Yeah, there's some really cool
Who
visuals.
doesn't
That's
do
some
that
badass
already?
fantasy stuff.
Had that in 2 movies too.
Yeah, you could have done it in 2 movies. I thought that the first Hobbit was pretty good, but then the second one, they just extended everything too much, and I think you could have done that in 1 movie, and it would have been awesome. It could have been a 3-hour movie like the other Lord of the Rings movies are, and I think it would have been better.
I'll agree that the second movie kind of fluffed things out, but and then the argument could be the third movie was unnecessary, but it was. I did you put it under bad? Is that what's going on?
I did, but we can discuss it. Kyle, where do you think this should land?
Right in between good and bad.
And Ish, you think it should be good, great, masterpiece?
See, okay, if it's like theatrical, like the IMAX version, I'd put it like all the way at the top.
I had a blast.
I'll concede to good.
We will concede with you. We will concede with you. I loved my theater experience.
Oh, it's
loved
amazing.
it.
We saw it twice in that format. It was like when we saw Avatar for the first time in IMAX. We were just like, what the hell was that?
Yeah, Avatar was a really cool experience. Avatar was my favorite movie for a while. I loved it. It was really cool. You know, I have that same experience that what you're saying about Battle of the Five Armies, except for like the live theater thing, like The Dark Knight Rises, and people hate on it. That movie, like, it transported me to Gotham, and I felt like I wasn't in a movie theater anymore. And that's what's magical to me about the theater experience. I love when I go to a theater and for like 2.5, 3 hours, however long the movie is, because the Batman did this to me too. I feel like I'm not sitting in a theater and I'm just like in this world experiencing it.
Theater is like
happened to me.
a vehicle that could take you places through time, even to geography.
Yes.
I'm sitting there going, I'm watching the movie and I'm sitting there going, oh, this person's getting up. Oh, that person's phone rang.
So you go to bad theaters. I never have anyone whose phone rings. I do. Obviously, I have the people getting up. I'm one of them. Okay. I've got diabetes. I have to pee. Okay. I got to pee.
I got to pee at least once during the movie. Yeah.
Yes. At least once. Sometimes the Batman, I got up twice, maybe 3 times. But that was fun. That movie I loved. I was watching that again yesterday. I've seen that probably 3 times since it came on HBO.
Really? The Batman, huh?
Yeah. I loved it. All right. Well,
I liked it too. It's that old man bladder.
Oh, you know what we haven't talked about with The Hobbit, though? Ish, please tell me that you didn't like the love story in The Hobbit.
That I didn't like it, or that I did like it?
Well, how do you feel about the love story?
Oh, with
Tariel and Keely.
Keely. Yeah, I'm not crazy about it.
It was awful.
Well, I mean, Lord of the Rings is completely devoid of romance. You know, let alone sex or anything. So for them to have to put that in the movies, that's such a Hollywood thing.
I that's why I was saying, I'm like, why did you put this?
Lord of the Rings
here?
is about bromance, not romance.
It's a bromance.
And I don't even like the Arwen and Aragorn stuff because there's no like build up. They just love each other. And honestly, when I watch the movies, I will fast forward through that sometimes.
I guess, I mean, at least they cast, you know, Evangeline Lilly, and she's easy on the eyes. So it's...
I don't mind Tariel. I don't mind the new character. She's awesome. I love her as a character. I just thought the love story was dumb. Yeah, she was. She really was. And yeah, she's pretty too. Like that doesn't hurt.
Yeah, like I get that he would. I get that he would like her, but what would she see in him? Who knows?
Yeah, like she's like 2 feet taller than him. That's a problem. I know that women don't mind
the Hobbit.
Some women don't mind a guy being a little shorter, but I just didn't buy it. When she had Legolas right there and he's pining after her, I don't believe it. Not for a second.
That would have been hilarious if she confused the twins.
They look nothing alike, but that would have been funny. Also, I love the dwarves' names. Keely, Bimber,
How do you feel
Bombur.
about reading the book Thorin Oakenshield? Is this, you know, when you read the book, he's kind of put on this pedestal. He's this hero. Do you feel that the movie matched that? Did they create a character as memorable as he was in the books? Because I thought he was crazy memorable in the books.
I like him. I think the movies they try to show his faults more because they're trying to make him a
Yeah.
dynamic character, and I don't mind that. And if I'm remembering the book correctly, he does get the Arkenstone sickness and stuff, and he does become
Yes.
really untrusting for a while there. But he wasn't so untrusting of Bilbo like he is in the movies. And another thing that the movies gets
I
wrong,
like
which isn't the
Balin.
end
They
of the
got
world.
Balin great. They did Balin
Yes.
really right.
And Bomber was good too, and but Bomber's just
Yeah.
kind of a joke character in both. But in the book, he never tells them he's a burglar until like the very end. But in the movie, he tells them immediately, "I'm not a burglar." And I remember that in the book, that was a really big deal. They're like, "Wait, you've been lying to us this whole
He
time?"
doesn't tell until he has to make the decision
Yeah,
to like to leave them, right?
I thought it was when he goes to actually steal the Arkenstone from Smaug is when he finally tells them. I may be wrong about that, but it's like they don't know that he's not actually this accomplished burglar in the book. So they think he's all skilled and everything when he's not. He's just a dude that gardens and likes to smoke weed. He's a hobbit. He's not a burglar.
So
Anyway,
what are you gonna do in the Shire, man?
absolutely. So I love hobbits. I would
Man,
love to be a
please
hobbit.
watch the animation on the Blaroff Bakshuan.
I need to.
I promise
need
you,
to.
you will absolutely love it.
Sounds good. Let's get
Good
into
homework.
the.
Do these have the Lord of the Ring comics and the Hobbit comics?
You know, they only ever made one comic ever, and it was a 3-part adaptation of The Hobbit.
I have them.
That's it. That's all that exists. Nothing was ever else licensed out into comic book form.
Was the book any good? Or the series?
The comic.
Yeah, it's a 3-part, like the arts, kind of that
Mhm.
traditional fantasy style.
Okay.
Like if you were going to get a Lord of the Rings calendar, I don't know if you remember those. They had a very distinct art style that was approved by like the Tolkien family.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the Boring movie biopic on Tolkien?
I did.
No.
I did. It was
It was
I
okay.
didn't mind it.
It was kind of boring.
It was to a degree. I didn't buy it myself. My brother-in-law did, and he's not much into digital movies, so he gave me his digital copy, and it's on my Vudu. So I have a copy. I haven't seen it since he gave it to me, though. I saw it in theaters. I enjoyed it. Wasn't head over heels. Like I am about the original movies. Boom.
Oh,
Let's talk about Fellowship of the Ring. Where should that land on this list? It's
I
bad,
thought it
right?
was great.
no,
No, there's
minimum
no
grade.
way I'm putting. At minimum, great. I'm gonna go ahead and say right off the bat that for me, all 3 of the originals land in the masterpiece category. But I'm willing to concede things if you guys disagree.
I
with
don't
me.
know, because that fucking skateboard moment in Helm's Deep, that could break the deal for masterpiece or not.
So, what's your favorite in the Lord of the Rings series?
I love the second one, except for that fucking skateboard scene.
It's that bad for you? See,
Oh,
that scene
man,
doesn't
it-
bother me nearly.
It makes me that takes me out of it. So hardcore. The
Really
moment it-
grinds
funny.
his gears.
Yeah,
That's funny. I
grinds
like
my
that scene.
gears, it
The one
chaps
that
my
takes me
ass.
out of it every time is when freaking Legolas is trying to get on that beast, and it's horrible CGI, and he somehow is like twisting around this beast to get on its back.
That's in the third movie, huh?
That's in the second movie. It's
Oh.
before Helm's Deep.
Because I think in the third movie too, when him and Gimli go on the contest, and I think they start jumping around the Oliphants.
Yes,
the
there's
CGI is so
pretty bad
in
CGI there,
that,
too.
yeah.
yeah.
So when I went to go see the second one, I was so excited. Like actually, it's one of those times I'm like, I'm going to the movies to see this. I can't wait. So I get there and I get my seats, and I'm just like, it was kind of full. So I'm at like the second row to the very back. And the whole back row is empty except for these 2. They must have been teenagers. They must have been anywhere from 17 to 20. And I'm sitting here, and they're like 3 seats down. And out of the corner of my eye, I'm watching this dude eat this chick out and then bang her.
Damn.
So I'm totally distracted.
So you're like 3 towers in this theater.
Yes.
Jeez, man, alive.
But I was just like, I'm trying to put my blinders on to watch it, but just out of the corner of my eye, I'm just like, they just railing her, dude. I'm like, fuck,
dude.
Dude, that reminds me when we saw Green Card at the Fashion Square Theater, so the fancy, like, uptight theater, and the seats in front of us, this fucking girl gave a guy a hand job during the movie. Packed theater. And the guy was talking back to the screen too. It's making hilarious comments.
I can hear your wife saying it was so
digress.
loud. Oh my goodness. I've never seen any of that. I've never seen anyone making out in the movies. I've never seen any of these, hand jobs or blow jobs or whatever. Like, you hear stories.
I did
because as a teenager, a lot of kids would go to like make out.
Of Lawrence of Arabia.
Man. Yeah.
But I mean, I get it. It's a long movie. They had plenty of time.
What scene was it during? Was it a romantic scene?
They were just going at it the whole movie, man. They were making out and the whole I don't even think they watched 3 minutes of the movie.
So they just paid $5. Movies are probably $5 at the time. Paid $5.
I guess cheaper
so
than an hour at a hotel, huh?
Their parents weren't there.
Maybe
to
better
bother
air
them.
conditioning.
That just amazes
God,
me.
He's railing her now. Fuck.
The confidence of just full on sex in public. That's I don't have that kind of courage. I guess I'll just applaud those individuals.
See, Hartman knows. Hartman knows what happens in theaters. When you take a high school date to a movie theater.
He said his fingers smelled like a dollar bill.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
You made your friend smell your finger later?
Is that what you're supposed to do?
That's what you're supposed to do.
That's like a teenage guy thing. Hey, dude. Smell my finger.
Yeah, then you say, smell your mom.
Oh,
This is what your
man.
mom smells like. Not your mom, but
So Zaggy says his only thing was
Meanwhile,
watching a fat
in the
kid
Shire-
eat Skittles and popcorn off the ground. So that's what I've had. I had the issue. I remember when I went to go see Solo, I was excited to see this new Star Wars movie, and go to the movie theater, and I'm sitting. I've been a big guy my whole life, but I'm sitting next to this guy that's like huge, and he couldn't breathe. He like just the whole movie. He's like,
my Lord.
I'm like, seriously? And he was like wheezing the entire movie, and he's eating his popcorn, and he can't breathe out of his nose, so he's breathing out of his mouth the whole time. And I'm like, dude, this is rough. This is rough sitting next to you.
well, just like I went to the Joker, and the dude puts his hand on my leg.
Oh, what?
I was like, fuck this, dude.
See, these are the negative experiences you have at a theater,
What
right?
theater was that at?
Man.
I told you, man, I live on the west side.
And that was back when you had like theater seating, not recliners, probably.
No, it was. It was
Was it recliner?
I went and saw we saw the Joker.
Oh, that is a newer movie.
Yeah,
Wow.
man. Somebody said to reach his hand over his part of the art. You know what I mean?
That's why you didn't like the movie. I
No.
wondered. You reviewed it with us on Couch Crunchers and
The
didn't
movie's
like it.
fucking
Now I
garbage.
get it.
No,
You
I
had a
watched it
negative
again.
experience.
I watched
You were
it again. It's
sexually
still garbage.
assaulted. I get it.
That
All
could
right,
ruin
I
a
get
movie being sexually
It
assaulted.
could.
Very good.
Definitely.
Why the fuck is this?
So
dude
if the
putting
movie's
his
that bad, it could actually be a better thing. Depends on the movie. How about dropping? You bring a beer bottle to a movie, you drop it, but it doesn't break, and you're in the back row, and you listen to it roll down the entire.
I used to do
theater
that all the
front
time
row,
when I was a teenager.
seeing everybody's head moves as it rolls by their feet.
I did that all the time. We would sneak a 40s in, and we would drink them and roll them down the fucking. Yeah,
That's
awesome to
right.
do.
Your mom. So when we saw, I forget which one it was. I think it was Smog, and we saw it at the Arizona Mills IMAX. You know how it's super steep, the seating.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
The Arizona
Yeah.
Mills IMAX. This woman got up and she had to like go in front of us to leave. And this woman was like thin, like a fucking toothpick. And by the time she got to my fat ass, She literally slid down to like the
On your tent
void
pole?
that's behind the seat in front of you. That's like a half step down. And like literally I had to like lift her out of it. And for the rest of the movie, yeah, we could not fucking stop laughing.
Oh man.
But now you see why I don't go to the movies?
These are the downsides. We talk about being transported to a new world,
This
but
one
then
makes
you
it
have a
fun.
person fall on your lap
Yeah.
or try to grab your dick while you're watching a movie. And yeah, there's some problems. I mean, Kyle, it sounds like you had a good time though, and the time where you had that couple next to you having sex.
It was
sounds
distracting. It was distracting. I'll give you that. I had to buy the movie and watch it again when it came out because I didn't remember any of it.
Dude, that'd be distracting for anybody. Like, yeah, no.
Fucking moaning and shit. Dude, his face is between her legs.
See, even that's not as bad as individually wrapped candy at the movie theater.
You think individually wrapped candy's worse?
And
it is loud.
That's worse.
Dude, I remember watching A Quiet Place, and I felt so self-conscious eating any of my popcorn because that movie is so quiet that
I know that feeling.
any crunch, and you're like, I'm ruining the movie for somebody.
How the hell did he sneak a fucking cooler into the theater?
That's awesome.
Oh, dude, yeah, we actually we got our money back afterwards because we went to the box office. We were like, this fucking ridiculous. These people had a cooler. They were passing drinks around. The dude broke the light on the seat, so the light, for some reason, they had this light shining on the screen the whole time. It was crazy.
Was it like a big igloo cooler or
Yes.
Eric Williamson, note to self: purchasing individually wrapped nerds.
Yo.
Oh man, that's diabolical, man. Oh, that's messed up.
How do they not say anything? Like, they don't like outside food and drink. That
yeah, how they get in? Nobody said anything because it's a bunch of teenagers. Who's gonna be the policeman there?
They don't care. You get the right.
They don't care until someone complains. Basically,
yes.
These were grown men. These were not teenagers.
Yeah, they're not teenagers. They were grown men doing it.
And
then the food out of the cooler, the food was wrapped, so they're unwrapping food, opening shit. And I'm we're watching Endgame on opening night, motherfucker.
They think they're at the drive-in.
Yes.
Freaking tailgating in the movie theater. That's awesome. Can you imagine someone bringing a propane grill in there and they're in the aisles making burgers?
If you're bringing a cooler, you fucking might as well. Fuck, cooking up hot dogs and shit.
That makes me want to rent out a theater with some friends and sneak in a little.
I forget the movie. I once took Taco Bell to a movie and ate it during the
movie. Oh yeah,
and
people do that all the time.
I had fucking shit all over me, little strings of cheese, and I was like, no, never again. I don't like inside prices.
Well, that's fair. Food at movie theaters is usually really badly priced.
And I always regret it, but I still always buy the popcorn. And then I fucking regret it. And then I tell myself I'm never buying popcorn again.
I always buy popcorn.
And I eat half of it. They're in the goddamn trailers.
Same.
Yeah.
Then
the other half is the tiny rock hard pieces that you can't even fucking eat.
Yeah, fuck, I gotta go to refill. The movie's about to start.
Yeah, I definitely have had those experiences. Oh man. Yeah. This is why I like going to Fat Cats though. So for a while I got the AMC Stubs list so that I could go to movies whenever I wanted, and it was, free. With my $20 a month subscription.
Dude, Monday mornings at 10 a.m. are the best time to go to the movies.
That is a good time. But I was doing the AMC Stubs, but the problem was I'd go and I'd buy popcorn and a drink every time.
In Scottsdale, it's all old people.
I went to go see one movie. I don't remember what it was now. The movie with the aliens, and they had, was it District 51 or something?
District 9?
District 9. Dude, I went to go see that, and I was the only motherfucker in the theater. I was like, this is fantastic. I can dig doing them, nobody cared because it was just me.
Did you take your pants off?
I did.
I've
Why
been to the
not?
movies by myself.
I took a
Quite a
cooler
few
in there.
That's awesome.
Dude, I used to manage a Harkins theater about 20 years ago. And it's in Scottsdale and Shea. And those early morning, the opening show, all old people, and every one of them has their t-shirt for their free popcorn. You have to wear the t-shirt, but they would never wear it. They would show it, and they're old, so you can't argue with them. And then they'd always come out and complain about the movie and want their money back.
I'm going to start doing that now. I'm going to go to every movie now, and I'm going to complain and get my money back. Because like when I went to go see the Batman, so I saw it in IMAX with the recliners and all that. So after 2 tickets, 2 popcorns, 2 sodas, it was like $130. I was fucking pissed. I can watch this shit on the internet for free.
Yeah, that's expensive. Jeez. Yeah, so Fat Cats is a theater in like the East Valley.
Well, I guess depends how much you like Batman.
I freaking love that movie.
I'm sorry, say it again.
I said Fat Cats is a movie theater / like arcade / bowling alley here in the East Valley. It's like Gilbert, Mesa, and Queen Creek have one. And that's my favorite to go to.
Video game
it's like
arcade?
10 minutes from my house. Yeah, they have an arcade. They've got it's freaking awesome, and they have bowling, and they have laser tag. They've got VR. It's like,
all right, we're gonna go see a movie there one day.
Yeah, you should. You should. But I like to go there because I got the popcorn bucket, and so I get a refill for like $3. And I got their loyalty cup. I get a refill for $1.50. So it's like not a big deal. Whereas when I go to freaking AMC, it's $16.
I always get the Harkins cup. I do the Harkins cup, and then you pay AMC $15 a year, and you don't have to stand in line, and you get the free drink upgrade and the free popcorn upgrade. So that pays off pretty quickly.
It does, but I was spending just as much
money. And then the Harkins loyalty cup pays off pretty good too.
Oh, absolutely. And the popcorn rewards at Harkins, that's an amazing deal.
That's what my sister used to get us for Christmas every year. She'd get us 4 cups and then like a gift card so that I must have like 5 or 6 unused Harkins gift cards and cups because we never go to the movies.
So it sounds like your mom works out by about where my mother-in-law lives. The East Mesa Fat Cats is like Greenfield and Southern. Oh,
that's
I don't think it's Southern.
It's so far.
Greenfield and like Baseline or Guadalupe or something like that. So yeah. All right, let's get back to ranking. We got sidetracked, which was a lot of fun. So the 2 Towers is bad because of the skateboard scene. That's what I'm determined to.
No. I couldn't. I don't know if it's a masterpiece because of the skateboard scene.
So you think it's just great?
But if you both insist it's a masterpiece, I'm fine with that.
Where are you at with it, Kyle?
I can take the skateboard and shove it up my butt.
I think it's great. Like, so.
Just great, not a masterpiece.
You know what? I'm gonna go with masterpiece because it's actually pretty fucking awesome.
And what about Fellowship? Because I don't think we actually voted on it. Where do you guys think Fellowship should actually land? Did we? We all agreed masterpiece?
Well, nobody disputed it.
All right.
Well, you know, when I saw that movie and when it ended, I got super choked up, just because it was just like a lifelong of Lord of the Rings fandom come to fruition, live action, you know, and the casting and everything everything's so right that
it's still
still today. I get emotional thinking about that because that meant so much to me in my childhood.
It's probably the best adaptation of a book to movie ever. Like it's
got to be up there, yeah.
There's occasional issues. There's things they didn't get quite right. Like I've got a pretty big issue with Return of the King.
Things they put in, but the heart of it, the soul is there. Those friendships, the relationships, the loyalty shown.
Yeah.
But you know what? Yeah. This is what I go about with movies. All movies, I go in there with no expectations, and I try not to compare it to anything, even if I know the source material. I just go in there for what they're giving us. Either I'm going to not like it or I'm going to like it.
You're better than most people, Kyle. That's
Because
what we
if-
should probably all do.
Often it's unfair to compare it to a book. A book is a book, a movie is a
Yes.
movie. And sometimes you can't, do it 100%, the way it's in
You
the
can't.
book.
It can be hard. Like, I understand. So, like, one of the things in Return of the King, and by the way, my opinion is Return of the King's a masterpiece. That's my favorite Lord of the Rings movie. But one of the things that I was
It needs
disappointed.
a super extended version, though.
Yeah, it is definitely better.
Is it?
What? Oh yeah, dude. The extended edition's great. The Mouth of
But it
Sauron
needs
is kind
a
of
super
stupid.
extended edition with the actual ending.
Oh, like in the Shire?
Yes. We've
See,
discussed
I-
that before, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind that was cut. It's cool in the books, but pacing wise, can you imagine how badly that would throw the pacing off? Like the story ends, they kill Sauron, and then they go back to the Shire and they have to fight Saruman. It's a little, really? I don't know. I feel like that wouldn't work very well in the movie. So your mom was mad they cut that out. I was disappointed that they didn't have the Rangers. Like, they had like 100 Rangers in the book that fight at the Minas Tirith, but in the movie they have the ghosts. And really, in the book, the ghosts just like take down the ships that were coming into Minas Tirith, and then Aragorn releases them. And at that point, it's really the Rangers that come in and save the day after that. And like, the ghost scene was awesome, so like, I don't blame them for doing it that way. But I was really looking forward to seeing 100 Aragorns on the field of battle.
They only had so
tearing
much
crap up.
money to make this movie. They couldn't fit everything in.
But it's funny because they spent time doing more CGI rather than just getting a bunch of people to do cool stunts. Because you wouldn't have even had to like, it would have just been stunt guys. None of them needed to have lines. They just needed to be badass, And
I agree with Eric. The best version, the one that takes as long to watch as to read the books. Like, it should be in real time reading the books.
Oh man, that would be a long movie. Days, yeah. I don't think I'd want to watch that again. Well, what do you guys think? Does Return of the King belong on the masterpiece category?
I'll do. It was just so.
What does the chat think?
Yeah, the chat. What do you guys think? I'd still love to hear. Well, there's a delay. The chat's not going to weigh in just yet. But in the meantime, Kyle and Ish, what do you guys think?
I mean, I can accept it in the masterpiece section. Why not? It did win fucking 14 Oscars.
Yeah,
they're awesome.
It's like the first movie where it's like, nice, nerds are getting some awards. I remember thinking that was so cool that it won awards.
I do feel the CGI took away some of the impact of the final battle.
I agree, but that was one of my biggest issues with The Hobbit. They had in the original like Lord of the Rings movies these orcs that were all done with practical effects and makeup that looked awesome, and then they CGI'd half of them, if not more than half of them, in The Hobbit, and I remember that being really off-putting to me. So CGI has always been kind of an enemy of the Lord of the Rings, and also an ally, because Gollum was awesome. You couldn't have done Gollum practically. He wouldn't have looked nearly as cool. Andy Serkis brought that character to life.
CGI Eye of Sauron. Imagine if they had an actor had to do that. The big flaming eye.
Yeah, that wouldn't have worked. The Eye of Sauron's cool, but the Mouth of Sauron, am I the only one? I thought he was silly. He looked dumb in the extended edition.
Wait, what are you talking about?
The Mouth of Sauron. So in the extended edition of Return of the King, when they go to Mordor, Aragorn goes to the Black Gate and he's met by the Mouth of Sauron. And this does happen in the book.
Oh,
but
yeah.
In the extended edition, it's this character with just this massive mouth. I do not remember him being described as having this massive, horrifying looking mouth. He was the Mouth of Sauron, meaning like the mouthpiece. He spoke for Sauron. He wasn't a big mouth monster. So I just thought he was really campy.
Sauron's
That's probably my least favorite.
Sweet lips.
Yeah, I did not like that character. I loved it when Aragorn chopped his head off. The movie was also missing Pippin killing a mountain troll, which that's okay. But that was cool in the book when Pippin got to be a hero and kill the mountain troll. It was also missing the fact that, well, the extended edition had it, but Saruman dying. We didn't get that in theatrical. Or Gandalf's staff being broken. That wasn't in the original theatrical cut. It was only in the extended edition.
That comes with the age.
I just love
When your staff
the
breaks.
extended.
Yeah.
Hartman, wasn't Sauron a big brown eye? He was a big like red eye. There's a lot of jokes about dropping some eye drops in there to fix things up.
Or shove a big tampon in it.
We still didn't get any opinions.
Yeah,
from
no
the chat.
feedback. Everyone's
No
just
feedback.
obsessed with Sauron's mouth.
Yeah, I get hyped up every time Viggo Mortensen does his monologue at the gates of Mordor. Freaking awesome. So, I love Lord of the Rings, man.
Well, that was the easiest tier list I've ever done.
Well, there's less items, and it's a little easier to agree on things. Although,
I
to
think
be
what
honest,
we came up with is probably the standard consensus.
yeah, I think the Hobbit
think
movies
we
might have
were
been lower from
going
some
against the
people.
grain here.
No, not for the most part. I think most people agree that the original trilogy is a masterpiece, or at least like really good. But I've heard some people that just like hate the Hobbit movies, and I don't hate them. They're not as good. They weren't as.
I'll watch
made.
them anytime. Like I ain't ever scrambling to watch Obi-Wan again. We could put on any of the Hobbit movies.
I watched the
them.
entire show again on Wednesday. I watched it from start to finish on Wednesday, and it was glorious.
Glorious.
Yeah.
Glorious.
I was looking at my TV, and every time I saw Ian McGregor, I just said, "Hello there."
It's a Jedi mind trick, Max. You will like this show. You will spend
worked.
on Disney
This is
Plus.
the show you will like.
I had fun with it. You didn't like anything about Obi-Wan? There wasn't anything redeemable to
You know, I liked, like for instance, the reveal of the third sister's background, right? That she was a survivor of the massacre.
Okay.
I thought that was brilliant. But they fucked it up by saving that for the 5th episode when that should have been in the 2nd episode, because that gives her character weight and motivation that elevates that character above all the others. And that's something you'd want in the entire series, not right at the end. They gave us Qui-Gon at the end, just like a hand job that didn't even finish. Like, what are they going to do now with Qui-Gon? I guess they're going to do a second season that's all Qui-Gon. Again, that should have been at the beginning, and then we get Qui-Gon throughout the series.
I was wanting Qui-Gon to be in it more.
Little
I
things
agree
like
with
a
you there.
Star Destroyer and now has worse aim than a fucking stormtrooper that escaped from that planet. The fucking Star Destroyer should have zapped them out of existence immediately, or the 100 TIE fighters aboard the Star Destroyer. Like, that escape made no sense. From scene to scene, it's like someone wrote a scene and another person wrote the other scene, and they didn't talk about what people did in their scenes. Like, Obi-Wan could have opened those fucking doors with the Force, because moments later he's opening all the other doors with the Force. So because of him, a bunch of people died.
I love that your mom is in the chat just telling us that she's a mother, because she watched Bob the Builder Cowboy movie 3 times on Wednesday. And I know for a fact that was because her son wanted to do so. My wife has watched
Buffalo Bob.
My wife has watched Spidey and His Amazing Friends on Disney Plus that entire season probably 10 times.
Dude, I've seen every Wiggles episode so many times.
Fruit salad. Yummy, yummy.
Right?
Fruit salad. I grew up, that's when both my kids, they watched the Wiggles. Actually goes fruit salad. Yummy, yummy. Gotta rub your tummy.
All right, back to Obi-Wan. Another thing about Obi-Wan is now they've set the precedent. You can be cut in half, you can be beheaded, you can be impaled. As long as you have revenge in your heart, you cannot die. That's the worst kind of fictional armor.
I mean,
the laziest writing.
That's how I live my life.
But did the show set that precedent? I mean, that was Darth Maul. He got sliced in half and showed up in Clone
But the
Wars.
precedent wasn't set till way later. For most people, it wasn't until Solo where like, wait, what the hell Darth Maul doing here? Oh, he's alive. Oh, hate made half his body continue to exist without, I don't know.
Hate makes my whole body continue to exist.
Ish, if you didn't know this, I'm gonna clue you in. The dark side is a path to things that many would consider to be unnatural.
Okay, I understand.
It's also Star Trek posters to bring you Ish.
You can always find.
I probably apply way too much logic to Star Wars.
I do. I think you apply too much logic.
It fails so many logic tests
because some of the things you just mentioned that you don't like, I agree with you. I remember watching the finale and thinking that the Star Destroyer trying to shoot down their cruiser and not being able to was stupid. And I remember thinking, why don't they send 100 TIE fighters after this thing and just take it down? So you're not alone. Like
I agree.
That
with
was dumb.
Comment. I'm 100% if it's not called Obi-2.
I think they're going to do a second season, but definitely not going to be called Obi-2.
I felt a lot of the visuals felt like they were like video game cutscenes. Whoever this director is, was she like from video games? Because that's how it felt like. Not movie, but video game cutscenes. The angles they chose, the way the camera moves sometimes.
Maybe that's why I loved it then, because I love video games.
Perhaps.
I love video game cutscenes. I was into it.
Yeah, I hate video game cutscenes. I'm always trying to find the button. Skip it.
Oh, you're one of those? Ish. I thought you were better than that.
I'm not. I just want to play the game.
That's okay. I think Riva is going to be on unemployment, Hartman says. I love it. Well, that's another good point. The Star Destroyer could have probably just caught him in their tractor beam. That might have made a little bit more sense. Capture Obi-Wan,
Yes.
then he could have like escaped to a planet, and then they could have had their showdown or something like that. That could have maybe been a better way to do it.
And also missing Obi-Wan didn't say "Talk to me, Goose." So I was like, "What the heck?"
Should have.
All right, nobody got that.
I mean, I know it's a Top Gun reference, but I don't get it. The Beavis and Butthead movie came out. Was that what okay, so I saw a clip from Beavis and Butthead earlier this week where they get told about white privilege. And I'm wondering if that was from the movie because it's hilarious. Have you guys seen that clip?
Yes.
They get told what white privilege is, and then they just go around stealing everything that they want, knocking stuff over. And when people tell them, "What are you guys doing?" They're like, "Oh no, it's okay. It's okay. We have white privilege. You don't understand." They're like, "Wow, we're so glad we went to college."
I think it's on Paramount Plus.
Arrest them.
Are you guys excited for Paper Girls? Did you watch the Paper Girls trailer? Are you excited?
No, I haven't seen anything.
Like Paper Girls, the comic book?
Yeah, the show's dropped its first trailer.
Oh, I had no idea.
Oh,
I mean, I wasn't a big fan of the comic, but
dude, it was awesome. It's probably one of my favorite comic runs.
Who was the writer on that again?
I forget who the writer is now. I looked it up on Wednesday.
Is it Greg Rucka?
No, I don't think so.
Jodie Belair or something like that?
I think she's directing it.
Wait, what's this about jacking robots off with robot arms? What the hell just happened in the chat?
Hey.
What? Oh, that must be from the Beavis and Butthead movie.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I do want to see that.
I never watched Beavis and Butthead, but that clip made me think, you know what?
Brian K. Vaughan doesn't write. He didn't write the show.
That's right.
He wrote the comics. He didn't write the show. He's like an executive producer. That's kind of there, but he actually didn't write the actual show. He's not writing he didn't write the show.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, he wrote the source material, but he's not writing the show.
Sure, like that, like Sweet Tooth or The Boys. So I'm sure those scripts aren't written by Garth Ennis.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, yeah. So, I don't know. I'm just excited for it. I loved the comic when it came out.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with it. I know Matt was talking about it, so hopefully it's good. What's it coming to, Kyle? And when's it coming?
I think it's coming to Amazon
Okay, it's a Prime original.
Prime. Yeah.
When is it coming? Do you know?
No.
That's okay. We can Google it. That's the nice thing about the world today. You got Google.
I'm so excited for it that I don't even know when it's coming out.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm excited for Thor. Lance actually got us into an early showing. We're gonna go Wednesday.
Nice.
Oh,
So
nice.
get to see Thor: Love and Thunder. I'm really excited about that because I'm actually leaving for a quick little vacation on Thursday next week, and I wasn't going to be able to see it most likely because we were just going to be hanging out with family. And so then Lance was like, "Hey man, you can go Wednesday night before your trip." Heck yeah!
So you're
man,
not
I'm
coming on the
in.
show Friday to review it? Is this
I
what
will
you're
not be
telling
on the
us?
show on Friday. I will not be on the show. I mean, depending on what, because we're going on a trip with my wife's family. Depending on what we're up to, maybe I'll pop in on my phone and say hi, but I will not be on the show. And I won't have a mic. So if I pop in, it'll be like iPad audio quality. So you won't want me on very long because I'll sound like garbage. All right. Well, was there anything of note this week you guys wanted to talk about?
Hartman says he is Padionate. I'm not sure what that means.
Aren't we all? I think
think
it's
he-
passionate.
I think he meant to say passionate.
Padionate.
Padionate. About everything everywhere all at once. I heard that movie was fantastic. I haven't seen it, but I've heard it's great.
Sam raves about it.
Yeah, and Tyler does. Yeah. Speaking of Tyler, if you guys haven't checked it out, check out our new show, AGP Quickies. We've been releasing an episode every single week. We're still trying to nail down a day that it comes out every week. We have not been able to get the consistency, but please tune in. We do 15 to 20-minute episodes talking about Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, video games, just whatever we're interested in. So if you're looking for more of a short form content on the Absolute Geek channel, check that out weekly. AGP Quickies. We got a playlist for
Thank
it on
you,
the
Sticks
YouTube
Boy.
channel. What did Stick say? Oh, he's telling us who the writers are. Cool.
So it comes out July 29th. Stoked at the end of the month.
Yeah, that's soon. That's really soon.
They've been talking about this for a while, so. But I mean, Paper Girls has everything in it. The 80s, time travel, pair phones. It's awesome.
Does it have
So-
Harambe?
It does not have Obi-Wan in it.
But it's got two things from Netflix, two of Netflix's greatest shows: 80s, Stranger Things, and then time travel, Umbrella Academy. So you're mixing those two. Maybe Paper Girls has the potential to be just incredible.
I think it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go in it with no expectations. I'm not even going to think about the source material. I'm just going to watch it for what it is.
Which is a show about
I want to plug.
girls throwing paper.
Yes.
That's kind of, yeah,
Girls made of paper.
yes. They're paper mache.
Yes.
Oh. So is this an animated show then?
No,
Oh.
it starts out that they are paper girls. It's these girls, they have paper routes.
Yeah, that's what I thought originally when
Yeah.
Matt explained it.
I want to plug a Netflix show because I recently just finally finished the final season, The Last Kingdom. And oh my
Dude,
God,
I
that
love that
show is
show.
amazing. That's one of the most satisfying endings to a show. Literally, that final episode, I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. When it was over, I just sat there in silence for 20 minutes. I was just oh my God, this was so good, so satisfying. Eric Williamson, yes, the other Dark Crystal, Age of Resistance. It's probably some of the two best shows on Netflix I've seen. Amazing.
I'm so glad you liked it, Ish, because I am the only one on this show that has watched it, and I wanted to talk about it on here so bad when it finished, but no one had seen it. Love The Last
You know
Kingdom.
what's not a
man.
very good Netflix movie?
What's that?
Spiderhead.
Oh, I haven't really heard very good things about that.
Is that where Chris Hemsworth pretends he's a genius?
I mean, yeah, I guess. Yeah,
He tried that in a movie once, Black Hat, and everyone made fun of him.
He does
'Cause he
better
was,
when
like,
he's
the most
an idiot
surfer
like in
bro
Ghostbusters.
internet hacker of all time.
Hack the world.
Yeah, Last Kingdom, dude. Uhtred,
No, it's Hack the
son
Planet.
of Uhtred
Hack
of
the Planet.
Bevenberg. He's up there with like fucking Conan the Barbarian. Is just one of the most fictional. Well, he's half fictional because he's based on a true guy, but his badassness, his heroism is top notch, top level.
He's a cool character. I love characters like him because he's not. I mean, he's a good guy, but he does a lot of bad things. He makes a lot of stupid decisions, especially in the earlier seasons when he's younger.
Sure,
But
but
then
he's
he
one.
becomes
Whenever
so
he showed
wise
up,
and-
you know, your side is on the good side because now you got Uhtred.
Yeah.
If he switches sides, then you're in big trouble.
Which happens a few times.
Yeah. Oh man, that show was so satisfying.
I agree. And they're doing a movie. I don't know if
That's
did you
one
know
show
that?
like a couple years from now, I'd love to like revisit and just watch totally from the beginning.
Fruit salad. Yummy, yummy.
And the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance. That's 10 episodes. As far as fantasy stuff, I put that up there with Lord of the Rings. The world building they did, the artistry of it is unrivaled.
I've heard good things. I have not watched it. But Eric Williamson, I love this comment in the chat talking about spiders. He says spiders give terrible head. Just an aside for everybody. Oh man.
All
All right, guys. Well, hey, thank you for joining us tonight. It's been a great podcast. Kyle, tell everybody where they can find you.
Right here in my dining room.
I mean, on the internet.
So you can find.
Do we just open the
me-
door and walk in? Or is there an
No,
open
come on
window
in.
we crawl through?
Both. Just pick. You can find me and Sam on Sundays, usually on Sundays, as we do our Thresholds of Reality. Our last episode we talked MK Ultra. The episode before we had a porn star that was injected with secret serum while he was in the military, who is into spectrophilia.
I can relate to that. Yeah.
So he's trying to do spectrophilia porn. So it's a lot of fun. Check it out.
Is that
Thresholds of Reality.
where you fuck ghosts?
Yeah.
Okay. I can connect with that.
So if you watch our episode, we call him Jason Porn. He
That's
talks
awesome.
he talks about the fact where he's almost like Moon Knight, where he blacks out and he wakes up and all this fucking, like he said he would black out and he woke up and people, like, he killed people and stuff. He doesn't remember doing it, and the Brazilian cops are like cattle prodding him and shit. It's a crazy episode.
Nice.
And then you can catch us Saturday nights as we do MCM. We're on our road to 1,000 subscribers. We're about 70 subscribers away from it. And then we're going to flip the whole format of MCM. We're going to make it more structured. We're going to make it shorter. And so, but we have a lot of cool stuff to give away. When we hit 1,000 subscribers, we've been bulking up on books to give away, all kinds
Harkins
of cool
movie
stuff.
passes.
So we've got a lot of cool giveaways to do. Come check us out Saturday nights. You know, it's I still do the drinking game. So
It's awesome. Yeah, guys, head over there.
And that's on The Amazing, which the name is about to change. As soon as we hit 1,000 subscribers, we're changing the name of the channel. I think it's a fantastic name. It's going to be called Beyond Wednesdays.
Nice.
That'll be the new channel name. But you find MCMs Saturday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern. Come hang out, or fucking don't. It doesn't actually matter. Just joking. Come hang out. It's fun. It's still real loose, so this is the time to come watch it before we get all structured.
If you're a loose person, head over to MCM. Have a good time.
If you're the dude in the back row during the Two Towers, this is the show for you.
Nah, man, your guys' show, you guys are killing it. You're going to freaking Indiana and getting recognized in comic book shops. You're a celebrity.
I know, I'm fucking famous, yo.
Yeah.
Where in Indiana?
I was in Indianapolis for a few days. I went to Comics Elite.
Okay.
And so, like I was talking at the beginning of the episode, the manager was like, "Hey, I know you," and I was like, "Nah, I'm from Phoenix." And they were like, "No, I watch you on YouTube. I watched you on Flipside, and then I transferred over and I watched you on
they've commented in the chat and stuff. There's a Comics Elite. I don't know whose account it is, but
so
I guess I missed that one. We've had a pretty lively chat. I didn't see anyone from Comics Elite today. That's cool. Well, what about you, Ish? Tell us what's going on with you.
shit, not much. Just working.
All right.
Lots of work. I started the show Chernobyl yesterday on HBO.
I tried to watch that. I couldn't.
And man, that is so intense. It's like a horror movie. It's fucking scary as fuck. That's a very intense show. But I heard that's also one that just came so highly recommended. And it's funny because I asked my wife, I was like, well, let's start a new show. And she said, okay, nothing intense. Chernobyl. It ended up being more intense than any of the other options.
Yeah, that is an intense one. Well, I'm
Strange
going
New Worlds. Star Trek Strange New Worlds. If you
Yes,
guys
I know.
haven't watched that. It's been excellent.
Yeah, I know you've been loving that one. I need to watch Beyond first. So you were telling me I should watch that first.
What? Beyond?
Yeah, Star Trek Beyond. Didn't you say I should watch
No.
that first?
No.
No?
Don't watch that.
Oh, all right. Never mind.
No, I said you should watch season 2 of Star Trek Discovery.
Discovery is what I meant to say. I meant
yeah,
to say
right.
Discovery.
Yes.
Yeah, my
Star
bad.
Trek Beyond is the J.J. Abrams trash.
Yeah, I meant Discovery. Sorry.
I like that.
Yeah, you should watch the first 2
trash.
seasons of Discovery are super solid.
Oh, that's what happened. Matt saying that he wishes he could get his internet back. I was wondering what happened. I thought
Oh,
we were
yeah.
just boring you.
He messaged me. He said he lost the internet. I forgot to tell you guys.
Oh, I just thought maybe they had something going on with the kid. Or Aaron was like, "What the heck? I thought you were going to hang out with me after your
Get the
WWE Raw
fuck
thing."
off the internet.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Northman, I think is what, or maybe he is talking about Norseman. There's a Netflix show called Norseman, but I watched the movie
sitcom
The
one?
Northman. Yeah, I think so. But I watched the movie
It's
The
like a
Northman.
Viking sitcom.
It's pretty cool.
He was like, "Fuck this Lord of the Rings talk. I'm out of here."
Are you excited for the show? Power Ring?
I have tempered expectations. I'm seeing some things about it that look really cool. I see other things that I'm like, I don't know. I'm not like super negative about it. Where are you at?
I feel the same. I'm worried. Part of me is super excited, more Lord of the Rings. But I'm a little worried that, I don't know, they're going to put some stupid shit in there.
Yeah, I'm excited about it, but I'm trying not to get too hyped. Like I saw recently, they released some stills of the orcs. I think the orcs look awesome.
It's going to look
the
amazing.
armor looks cool. I think
that's a given. It's going to look good. That's not a big thing anymore. They make these shows look good pretty easy nowadays.
Well, I guess Kyle got tired of talking about Lord of the Rings too.
I just hope they stick to the original spirit of Tolkien. You know,
I agree.
Like we mentioned with the other movies, these are movies about friends and bros. You know, they're not about sex and romance. And
I'm worried because I've heard
who's
that
attracted to who. I don't care about who's attracted to who.
Yeah.
You know, we want the power of the ring.
I'm worried about the same thing. I've heard a lot of rumors that it's kind of going the Game of Thrones route, like they were hiring actors who were willing to do nude and sex scenes, and I'm like, look, there's a lot of that on the internet. We don't need that.
That almost betrays some of the tenets of Lord of the Rings. You know, Tolkien would never approve that. He would never approve of that.
Totally agree. And so I'm a little worried that they're going to go that Game of Thrones route when that's not in the spirit of Lord of the Rings.
We'll see.
So, we'll see.
I'll still take my money.
Well, I mean, it's part of my Prime subscription, so I'm definitely going to watch it. I'm hopeful. I love fantasy. We don't get enough of it. So it's more fantasy. Well, hey, that's going to do it for us tonight, guys. It has been a lot of fun hanging out with y'all. But
You need to bring up this final comment.
I do. What's the next?
Yeah.
Go ahead. What's the comment you want to bring up? There's quite a few that came in.
Flash it on the screen. The moist with the anticipation, like crusty sourdough.
We're all moist with anticipation, like crusty sourdough. Bring it.
That was
Nice.
Poetic.
Yeah. Well, hey, thank you for everyone for tuning into the Absolute Geek Podcast. Please check us out every Friday. Subscribe, hit that like button. Check out my new show, AGP Quickies, that I do with Tyler. And for this week's episode of the Absolute Geek Podcast, I'm Max.
And I'm Ish. Live long and prosper.
May the force be with you all.
All you freaks and geeks.
Come all you freaks and geeks. Let's listen to Absolute Geek.
Absolute Geek.
We'll go ahead and spread our cheeks
Spread the cheese.
and drink
And
some
over for
Cosby wine.
We'll
Come
drink
on,
some
Absolute
Cosby wine. It makes me feel real fine. See you next time on the Absolute